finally, right? You guys have all been bothering me to watch this short film called zYGOTE. At first I thought it was something from Crypt TV, and I'm like, I like Crypt TV, I'll go ahead and watch, and it actually isn't. It's by Oats Studios. Also, I knew the girl looked familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, I know her. She looks so familiar. It's my girl, Dakota Fanning. She's actually a big actress. I mean, that's that term, right? I don't know what she's played in lately, but back then, she was a really big actress. Well, tickle me rich. She was actually in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I have not watched yet. She was also in War of the Worlds. Yeah, that's right. She was in Twilight Saga, Secret of the Beast, Please Stand By, Cat in the Hat. When was she in Coraline? Don't tell me she is Coraline. Are you freaking serious right now?
My whole life has been a lie.
Well, pussies and kittens, let's finally get into the review for Neil Blomkamp. That is just a really hard name to say. I mean, I know there's a lot of others, but Jesus. Don't worry, I have one hell of a last name too. Right off the bat, I got some serious Alien vibes off of this. I'm pretty sure that's where most people who do stuff like this take inspiration from. But then I think about the movie The Thing and an enclosed area, and there's a blizzard blaring outside. It's all cold and foggy, like, yeah, definitely The Thing. And if anything, this movie more so puts me in mind of The Thing than Alien. If I'm being totally honest, they're basically the same creature. There's only ever one solution for such issues. So yeah, as I was saying, our first clue here is Cerberus. I mean, it's called Cerberus Minerals. And you can see that this is set way into the future because there's talk about synthetics, and it also says it was established in 2041. For those of you in the future watching this, I know you're probably wondering what the hell we're talking about. Like, that doesn't seem like a very long time ago, especially considering that was only like 10 years ago. But just imagine that it would be like to you, like this is in the year 3000, something weird to you that you can't fathom in your current timeline. Anyways, 3 heads making up one body or sharing one body. There were 98 crew members and now there's only 2 survivors. I'm guessing this is a picture of all of the poor people who died. Dakota's superior captain, I'm guessing that's who this guy is, for some reason doesn't have his eyes. Later on we find out that he actually took his eyes out because whatever this freaking SCP thing is, it causes him to take out his eyes, or the quartz it comes from causes him to take out his eyes. I'm not really even sure what's going on with this whole monster. Jeez, Dakota looks, I mean, never mind. Old. I mean, is it because I recently watched her younger movies? What the hell happened? Of course, silly me, it's because she's stressed to death because there's some kind of monster, an aberration from the pit of hell chasing after them. Anyways, the entire movie, or this little short film, really centers around this guy being the sensei trying to help Dakota get on up out of there. Honestly, the first half of this little short film, it was so hard to understand what the hell they were saying. I had to turn on captions, or at least see if captions were available. So if you start watching this, turn on the captions. I don't know why you'd still be here watching it because these are mega spoilers, but if you start watching it, you definitely need captions because for some reason, maybe it's my speaker setup, everything was really muddy and I couldn't hear what the guy was saying half the time. His voice seemed low, it was kind of mixing in with the ambient noise. I could hear her very clearly, but I couldn't hear him.
Freeze to death if the steam tubes lose power.
See right there, I have no idea what he just said. Okay, so he said, we'll die if we stay here, Barkley. Discover that the girl's name is Barkley. I thought he said that you would have died if he stayed in Brooklyn. I'm like, what? And he says they'll freeze to death if the steam tubes lose power. So what I found really interesting about this monster is this guy is telling Dakota that it's not the issue that we're gonna die of thirst eventually, or die of freezing. It's the fact that the thing that's chasing us and hunting us down right now knows everything that we know. It knows about where the water is, it knows about where the food is, so it can kill us a lot quicker than expected. So I was thinking at first somehow it got to their memories, or the crew members that it ate, it got their memories and stuff, which is very, very eerily similar to the Thing alien from the movie. So he teaches her how to use a gun because he says eventually the monster is gonna get there. I don't know what Canary Class means. He gives us a little bit of that information later on based on their dialogue, but there's a whole bunch here that you probably have to watch it a second time to understand it, or actually know what the hell is going on. And probably is not detailed in what we're seeing. He said that Canary Classes, because she says she's not allowed to use a gun, he says Canary Classes have access to firearms with a biometric override. So you mean like a human has to do it? So is she not human? He says he's unlocked the rifle for her, and then he teaches her how to use the gun. Something's obviously wrong with the guy, and he's not gonna last very long. He's just sticking by her to ensure that she survives if both of them can't make it. He says there's something wrong with him, that there's a light shining out from him. What is that, the gospel? Is it Amon-Ra? The digivolving? No one knows what the hell is going on here. Of course, my first thought was chestburster, especially since he starts puking up blood. The guy said one of their other crew members had cut a monster open. So there's more than one of these things. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but that sounds like what he's saying. And when they cut it open, the thing had 40 rat brains inside of its body linked together, which is freaking creepy. Sounds like the thing.
Holbrook, see, he keeps these little pigs with the pens. Cut the pig's organs out and start them all together as sheep organs.
Now we gotta find out who the hell is this Holbrook guy, some mad scientist who created the monster that we have yet to see. So the guy says, God, this is so gross. Not only did this guy string a whole bunch of stuff to get like the freaking human centipede, but the monster that's chasing them, apparently this Holbrook guy cut up all the miners, which are other human people, maybe the rest of the crew. I think it's the rest of the crew, because later on we see Dakota and the guy utilizing their hands to open certain doors and stuff. And he said that he made the monster, that big monster, which means it's bigger than the others they've seen, out of all the miners. Holy crap. We then discovered that he had cut his own eyes out when he saw the light, but it was too late, and I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing we'll find out. They traverse over to the second facility in the snowy blizzard, just like the thing. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep saying it because it just really reminds me of it. Okay, you're like a damn broken record. Yes, I the hell am. It's scary because this thing keeps chasing them. Maybe it wants to merge with them or something. It's hunting them down, and when it gets to the door, it cycles through the DNA that it's holding inside of itself until it gets authorization from one of the people it absorbed to open the door. Freaking creepy.
Insufficient status. Decline.
They got the door. Keep moving. We can.
Authorized. Private Philip Marshall.
Now, this is horror. Don't need that many pixels to see what's running through her mind right now. The thing you notice about Monster is you kill it and it never stays down. I really did enjoy this short film. The guy didn't make it, unfortunately. He had to sacrifice himself. But I do enjoy this because it just shows this person going through the situation. I think it would have been a lot more scary if she didn't have a weapon. I mean, near the end, she didn't really. But I would have loved to see this go on a little bit longer in an element where it's like Haunting Ground. Remember that PlayStation 2 game with the girl and her dog? And she literally has no weapons, which makes it one of the scariest games I've played because you feel totally helpless as the main character. You see, everything is a little bit terrifying until you have a freaking AK-47 in your arms. I guess the creepy bit about the short film is exactly what this creature is. The fact that this guy put it together like this, that is a really interesting design. I've seen this somewhat before in a game that we played a long time ago. So that is the first thing I thought of when I saw this. And notice how a lot of the hands are also holding the human brains together. Freaking nasty, dude. Okay, I thought that was a scrotum. I was like, what's that doing over there by the hand category? What I didn't understand here is while she's taking the axe and she's sawing off the hand so she can get one of the fingerprints from the workers, why didn't she take that time to chop up the brains? I mean, the creature is kind of subdued at the moment. You know, you only have a small window of time. I would have taken that time to just chop the brains all up to all hell. Clearly, the brains being connected is making a bigger brain, and this thing is using that brain to move. Why not go for the brains? They're right out there in the open. They were in the last shot. Of course, the mangled mess of humans starts to writhe as soon as she starts to leave. Ew, look at the foot. You can see feet in there wrapped up with the hands, and the bones on the hands are broken. You see that? Yep, that is like a whole bone sticking out of that hand. That's disgusting. She starts to make it to the vault. The creature had knowledge of this as well because it absorbed her friend or her captain, and she locks herself in there. My thing is she had to use this fingerprint, a specific fingerprint on this clump of hands to open the door. So since there are two pairs of hands, if both pairs of hands are not in there, what if she uses, what if the monster monster uses another pair of hands or fingerprints to open the vault as well. Maybe there's something I missed, and once one person's in the vault, you can't get in there. It's just odd, but it's also wearing the hands and fingerprints of everyone, and possibly a lot of people authorized to also go in the vault. Plus, I don't remember seeing her use the finger that her superior chopped off to give to her. He also mentioned to her that she's actually human. She is not a synthetic. Apparently, the only reason that she had all these rules that she couldn't do this without a human's permission or without the person's permission is because she grew up her entire life thinking she was a synthetic. I've seen so many movies and TV shows that depicted people who were main characters thinking they were human and finding out they're synthetic. I've never seen one where someone grew up thinking they're synthetic and they're actually human. I can imagine how that would be very awkward if the other synthetic people that you're around are lifting things with their fingers and you're like, I can't lift that. I can't lift a freaking car with my thumb. How do you guys do that? And they're like, you're severely malfunctioned. Maybe you should go to the shop, get that checked out. But it was such an interesting concept that I at least want to see more of it. This is how you build a universe, because they left so many cookies here, so many little Easter eggs that we're going to find out later in subsequent movies. After all, they did say this is volume 1. And what is the creature exactly? Why is it that they made this mangled mess into this monster? What was the purpose for doing this? Are they trying to make something similar to Cerberus, which is why it's called that? Military bioweapon purposes? Looking through their channel, I do remember I did see some stuff from them. I just didn't remember what the channel name was. I think I watched the one with Adam, and I don't know if these are all interact. I think these are probably connected in some way, shape, or form. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, all I can say is go check out their videos. Thank you for telling me about zYGOTE. It was really interesting. I do actually like it, but let's face it, it was basically the thing. The only difference is that this thing was not from outer space. It was created in a lab by this crazy person. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.